With the most recent Nintendo Direct announcing that Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4 are going to be coming out on June 5th, I would like to make a video covering how to make the most perfect files for Deltarune Chapter 1 and 2. This includes all items, all armor, all weapons, all dialogue, and of course, secret. And the recruits, and both routes. I'm not just going to be telling you how to do this, I'm going to be walking you through it, like, entirely. First things first, when you get to the Dark World, obviously, save your game. Once you reach this crossing, make sure to go downward and grab the glow shard, as if you miss this, you miss it. You can't go back. You can solve this puzzle easily by pressing 2 and then 3. That's pretty much it for the cliffs area. You catch up with Susie. Lancer tries to kill you. You run from Lancer for a brief bit, and then bust your ass. You can skip Ralsei's prophecy, and no repercussions will be given to you, so just go ahead. I don't know if it has any future effects if you don't, but make sure to warn Lancer, just because. After defeating Lancer, Ralsei is revealed to be, well, Ralsei. And then you can fight the dummy. I personally like to hug Ralsei when I fight the dummy. Save your game, once again, upon entering the Field of Hopes and Dreams. You can easily spare Rudin enemies by doing Convince and then sparing with Ralsei in the same turn. Here you want to go down below Lancer if you want to grab 2 dark candies. And then make sure to take the broken cake key item here, and then keep it as you go forward, obviously. If you use X Flatter on a Hathi, it will automatically make the names yellow for any enemy in the fight at all. You can find 2 more dark candies on this tree. Make sure to grab the white ribbon here and equip it to Ralsei if you want some extra dialogue. In this static fight against 3 Hathis, you can just X Flatter and then defend and then graze until you have max TP for some extra money. Susie has now caught up with the party. Make sure that any fight you get in with Susie, you warn the enemies, as you want the true pacifist ending, at least in this video. Spend 51 dark dollars to get in and then donate to the hole. Exhaust all of Sham's dialogue and then buy a spooky sword. Make sure to warn all of the Jigsaws in this battle about Susie, and then use Befriend and then spare them all. Push one box onto a button and then stand on the other button for some special dialogue. Break the 4th wall with Ralsei. Go up here and then solve the first Jevil puzzle like this. Diamond flip diamond, spade flip spade, to get broken key C. Just avoid the light, these puzzles are very simple. Make sure to warn the Pond Man before sparing it, use Good Night, and then spare with Ralsei in the same turn. Here you have the option to select your team name. I like to select Neat Paper as it goes with Fun Gang, the community accepted canon name. Here we have our first mini-boss K round. All you have to do is simply deep bow to it 5 times. Don't worry about warning it, as it will just tank all of Susie's attacks. You can easily spare Rabix by blowing 1 and then sparing in the same turn. Do this little interaction with Susie. On this puzzle, go to the top left and you'll be able to get Ralsei's Ragger weapon. Go back to the top right to progress the game. You'll want to put in spade, diamond, spade, swap. In the next room, you want to put in spade, diamond, swap, spade, swap. This will give you the one-of-a-kind Dice Brace armor. To spare a Bloxer, do rearrange and spare in the same turn. Make sure that you get head, torso, and legs in that order. Here you want to put in diamond, swap, spade, diamond. And then against Clover, you want to talk boys, sports, and then trees and spare in the same turn. Now above the bake sale, you want to fix your broken cake. To get the top cake, which we'll get to later, buy a Choco Diamond and a Hearts Donut, and of course a Lancer cookie. Go up and left here to interact with this worm for no particular reason, and then go up and right to get 40 dark dollars. To get both the Revivement and Jevil's second key part, you'll want to go here and instead of going right, go down. In the bottom middle, there will be a hidden path which you can follow. If you would not like to fight anything, you could spawn in the Rabbit, go back here, and then go up here. You only have a 2 pixel window here, so I eventually ended up fighting it. If you do fight them, use Breathe All instead, as it will save more time. Following the small path upward, you'll be able to get Broken Key C. On your way back up, make sure to stop and go to the left to grab the Revivement. Go back and instead go right to progress the story. You can now build the Thrash Machine. In this, you want to select the Flame Head, as it will give you a actual in-game advantage against the Giga Queen fight in Chapter 2. I went for cute points and recolored it to be the Fun Gang colors. After conquering this Starwalker bird, ring the bell and then backtrack backwards. This will unlock you an original Starwalker, a reoccurring gag throughout the chapters. Enter the room again from the right side to solve it in reverse, and then chase down Starwalker to steal $40. Every time you transition from the Starwalker room to the Invisible Switch room, you will have a 1 in 52 chance, or 51 chance, of finding a Eggman. This man you can get the egg from. The egg will be very important later on. There are a lot of theories going around regarding this Eggman, but this is not a theory video. Upon exiting the egg room, you will now be sent back to the bake sale. You just made a lot of progress. Save the game. Upon making it back, go up here to the top middle of the room and flip the invisible switch. You could solve it vanilla, but I already know the answer. And it unlocks special dialogue. Alas, a new save point has been reached. You can talk to everyone here. I personally like to talk to literally everything that you can and go through all of the dialogue options, as it may unlock things in the future. In this puzzle, just go every path that Lancer and Susie do not go. There's a save point in the room before, as this is the battle against Susie and Lancer. In this fight, sing Susie to sleep with Rouse, and then do anything X on Lancer 2 times. Repeat the process when Susie wakes up. Susie and Lancer are now members of your party. There's nothing special of note for a 100% run in this brief story section, and I'm not here to cover story, I'm here to cover, the game. Long story short, chase scene is over, you are now in jail. Make sure to eat the moss, investigate the crack, and then take the iron shackle before you confirm the situation with Rouse. Put in spade, diamond, swap, spade. Everything happens here automatically except for this section where you have to dodge the Lancer's bullets. Once Susie frees you from the cell, make sure to save your game. Head right here for some lore dialogue and the original Starwalker. After this elevator cutscene, Susie will for real join your party, and you will be able to do everything that hasn't been mentioned yet. Take the elevator back down to the basement, marked as question mark, and initiate Jebel's subquest. Go to floor 1F to leave the castle. I wanted to try new things like an idiot, but the best way to spare them is to compliment them with Susie and then spare with Rouse on the next turn. Leave the castle and take the warp door to the field. Go back left and ask Sham about the strange prisoner. This will give you broken key A, completing your set and allowing you to forge Jebel's key. Make sure to also grab 3 amber cards and a dark burger. Maybe a few dark burgers, as it is the best healing item in this chapter. Backtrack back to Top Chef and give him his top cake. This will give you a spin cake, which every time you use it, you can get a new one. The spin cake gets stronger each chapter. Return back to the bake sale, go back up, and fix the key with Mr. Hammerman over here. You can now fight Jebel with this key, but we would like to put that off until we get better equipment first. Check out the diamond room and talk to the Rudens on your way to progressing. One of the Rudens will give you a Choco Diamond. In the next room, go into the room on the far right. Initiate your first interaction with Rule's card. Head back to the room prior and go down and left and grab the club sandwich. Take the upward path to progress. Since Susie doesn't know how to flirt with Chris, spare with Susie, and then defend with Rouse. Head to the room in the top right and interact with every individual bed to get the bed inspector title. Head to the top left of the room to progress. Make your way to the right of this room to initiate your second interaction with Rule's card. Return to the room prior and go downwards to progress. You can also check out Clover's room beforehand. Once you get to Rule's card's shop, buy a brave axe, dainty scarf, and a Rule's rule. Exhaust all of his dialogue options and then leave the shop. Let's investigate Lancer's room for the hell of it. Take the elevator at the center of the room to go back down to floor 1. Take the elevator on floor 1 to go back to Jebel's cell. These should be your loadouts for Jebel's fight. If you're looking to kill Jebel and get the Devil's Knife instead, then swap out the Dainty Scarf for the Ragger. Now, unlock the cell and save the game. I personally still consider Jebel as the hardest fight in both Chapter 1 and 2. When going for the kill, you obviously want to fight and use Rue Buster whenever you can. However, when going for Pacifist, make sure that whenever you have 50 TP and your health is not only looking good but nobody is dead, you use Hypnosis so that you can lower Jebel's attack at the next turn and get closer to sparing him. Try and do this fight while not burning through all your items, as some items you will not be able to get again, like the Lancer Cookie. Try and only use Dark Burgers, Rules, and the Spin Cake, as those items can be replaced after you defeat Jebel. After enough uses of Hypnosis, Jebel will be tired and you can use Pacify on him. This will give you the Pacifist ending for his fight. Jebel gives you a Shadow Crystal, which is pretty much a token of completion for any secret boss. He also gives you the Devil's Knife if you beat him, which is a weapon for Susie that lowers Rube Buster cost and massively increases damage and magic, or the Jebel's Tail if you beat him by sparing. The Jebel's Tail can be equipped to anyone and is overall the better item as it increases attack, defense, and magic a good amount. The Rube Buster cost down from the Devil's Knife is not very important. And you will get an axe for Susie that is only 1 attack point lower, which will eventually do more damage if you stack it with the Jebel's Tail. Here were my items after fighting Jebel. After beating Jebel, I now have 1 of every item, as far as I know, except for the Spin Cake, which I can get at the start of Chapter 2. Continuing the natural progression, we go up the staircase north of the shop. Here is our third interaction with Rule's card, which is a rematch against K-Round. To spare him this time, use Susie's idea and throw Rouse at a good angle to knock the crown off 3 times. If you skip all the dialogue here, you can catch up to the crown and get a funny little thing. There she blows. The throne room marks your last save point of the chapter before the final boss. You will not be penalized at all in your true pacifist ending for defeating the king here with violence, so try out Red Buster. In your act options, you can talk with Chris to get courage and defense boost, talk with Susie to get access to Red Buster, and talk with Rousey to get access to dual heal. These moves will carry over to the queen fight in chapter 2 and most likely every other major boss of every other future chapter. The king went down without a sweat after only a few Red Busters. Because I made sure Susie didn't hurt anyone, we got the true pacifist ending where everyone comes to save us from the king, and we get to say one final goodbye to all the denizens of the Dark World, including Lancer and Rousey. Upon returning to the fountain from this goodbye, Rousey will reveal to you that he is actually a goat, and thus you and Susie close the Dark Fountain together, and are back in Hometown. There are many things to do in Hometown that will have influence on further chapters. You should absolutely make it a point to do all of them. I personally make it a point, especially in Hometown, to interact with every single interactable thing. But I'll save you all that and just tell you what you should do. Go to the library and talk to Birdley, Temmie, and Jockington. Make your way left and exhaust all of Undyne's dialogue options. Go to the top left room of the hospital and exhaust all of Rudy Holiday's dialogue options. Make your way further left and interact with the front door of the police station. Go back, but this time go south. Explore the town hall. Exhaust Father Alvim's dialogue options. Visit the graveyard and check out the tombstones. Go deeply south into Hometown to find a hidden bunker. Waiting outside the front doors of this bunker, we'll play entry number 17, slowed down by 666%. Return north, but this time go even further north. Starting from the far right, go to the alley up north and exhaust all of Alfie's dialogue options. Moving left, exhaust all of Sans' dialogue options. When leaving, tell him yes to wanting to see his brother. Stop by the diner and get yourself a hot chocolate. At the far left, you can conversate with Burger Pants. Exhaust all of his dialogue options. Drink the hot chocolate. Now, even farther north. Again, starting from the far right, wait in this position for Onion-san to show up. Tell them yes, Chris, and Onion to initiate them showing up next chapter. Head into Asgore's flower shop. You can put the mystery egg that you got in the fridge in the back of the shop. Asgore will give you flowers to give Toriel when you return home. Knock on Napstablook's door. I didn't do it like an idiot, but exhaust all of Braddy's dialogue options. Exhaust all of Caddy's dialogue options. When talking to Noelle, ask her about Susie and tell her that she eats chalk. This will give you the light candy consumable in chapter 2. Exhaust the rest of her dialogue options. Going up north, you will finally return home. Give Toriel Asgore's flowers and then exhaust all of her dialogue options. Leave the house after giving Toriel the flowers to initiate a little change in the trash can. That's pretty much everything of importance. You can now go to sleep and finish off chapter 1. Well, that's it for the chapter 1 segment. I'm gonna record the chapter 2 segment in a bit, so, yeah. Because we talked to Noelle outside the gate in Hometown at the end of chapter 1 and told her about Susie's, chalk thing, we got the light candy item right here. I'm gonna try my best to keep this segment of the video short and exclude most mandatory story things. Before leaving the Dark World and going to the abandoned classroom, you have the option to go and hug the Rousey statue and get some special dialogue with Susie and Rousey. While balancing everything on your head, you can go down and see Alphys and Toriel having a conversation. At the end of this conversation, you can call Toriel and tell her about how you are normal. Now, take everything back down and progress the plot. Go visit Sham's shop and buy an amber card and then talk to him to give him your shadow crystal that you got from Jevil. Remove the amber card that you have on Rousey and Chris and use them to fuse 2 silver cards. Second card fused from the amber card you just got and Susie's one that you replaced for the Devil's Tail. If you use your spin cake in the fight against Jevil or any fight in chapter 1, come and get a replacement spin cake from Top Chef after equipping your silver cards to Chris and Rousey. This is what your storage should look like based on what you got from chapter 1. Head to the party dojo and complete all 3 challenges that are available to you at this point. Interact with this thing. Interact with pretty much everyone in the Dark World, I guess. If you have the money left over right now, buy 2 Dark Burgers and fuse a double Dark Burger and put it in your storage. Head to the jail in Rousey's castle and initiate a cutscene with King. Go to the upper floor of Rousey's castle and explore Chris and Susie's rooms to progress the story. Make sure to check out every single bed in all 3 rooms so you can keep the bed inspector roll. You can also interact with the cauldron to play a cutscene where Susie eats the cake all by herself. Save your game. When you're leaving to go do your group project with Susie, the original Starwalker will join you, assuming you've been doing everything exactly as I've said. If you got the egg in Chapter 1, a man will appear in this car, presumably the one that gave you the egg. The man presumably disappears after one interaction. Skipping the large plot section, you can easily spare werewires by jiggling 2 times and then sparing with Susie. But if you're good at the game, you can do throw wire to get both of them in one turn, which I am not. After this, Rouse is caught up to you, and we can continue the walkthrough now, yeah. Throughout the cyber field, there will be a ton of these little dodge things. These aren't really anything to cover. Now that Rouse is caught up, the best way to spare a werewire is to guard with Chris and Susie, and then pacify one of the werewires. Take the right path from the entrance of the room to grab a glow wrist. Proceed onward past this room. South of the manual here, you can fight your first task. The best way to spare task would be soft voice with Rouse and then sparing with Susie in the same turn. Head to the room at the top right to do this little puzzle. You will spell out the word like this. Interact with Newbert here and grab the fiber scarf. Equip this to Rouse. Progress via the bottom right. After a brief plot section with Queen, Noelle, and the Fun Gang, you can play a little joke cut to black here by buying 400 bagels from KK. Head to the right to progress. Stop up north to initiate the checkmark quest. Move onward but go south and collect your first blue checkmark with a glow wrist after sparing some tasks. Return to the room prior and progress further right to encounter a Virokun. When fighting multiple Virokuns, your best bet is to do Take Care X and then spare them all in the next turn. Accidentally press defend with Rouse. You are now met with a mandatory puzzle to spell out agree to all. While moving towards progression, force yourself into an encounter with Virokun to secure the recruit. Now that you've cleared the force field, take the 3 teacup rides from left to right. At the top of the first one, you'll be met with this puzzle to spell out Icy's catchphrase, except one of the letters, I can't remember which one, is swapped out for a different letter. Toby, how dare you. This will get you your second blue check mark. Now take the teacup ride in the middle to get your third blue checkmark. Report back to the hacker to complete the blue checkmark quest. You get some fireworks for show, and he will now appear as an NPC in your castle town. Return back to the teacup ride room and take the one to the far right. In the fight against Sweet Cabin Cakes, simply use Dance X 4 times, each time on a different person. And now you'll have SNR action, which allows you to finish the fight. The hacker's fireworks display of your heads will appear again on your way back. Now heading north, buy from Sweet Cabin Cakes the Mecha Saber and Auto Axe, and if you want a CD Bagel, exhaust all of their dialogue options as well. Equip these to both Susie and Chris respectively. In this fight, pet the task, use SNR action on the Virokun, and then pacify the werewire and spare the rest the next turn with the TP acquired. Before leaving this room, go back down from the east side to grab the tension bit. On your way back around, put this in the storage, as once you use it, it's gone. In this room, have the Virokun farthest south unlock a chest which contains a revivement. Then use the Virokun to the top right to progress. You hit all 70 purple arrows on this teacup ride, you will get the Ragger 2. If you fail on the first time, you can come back later once you unlock the warp door. In the fight against Birdley, simply use Bump X until you win. Grab a dark candy from this trash can, and interact with Newbert and Trashy for some fun dialogue. You are now forced to progress alone for a brief bit. These simple car stopping puzzles are reoccurring, so I will not cover most of them. Interact with this trash can for a free $20, and the bottom one, use Click against the pop-up. This will cause the pop-up to duplicate, so you can use Click again and instantly recruit pop-up. Interact with the trash can to get a CD Bagel. Now that Noelle is a part of your party, take the royal pin and the silver watch off of her character. Equip both of these armor pieces to Chris and then save the game in your first and second slot. We will get back to that second slot later. You can solve the first mouse puzzle before it even tells you to save some time. Using Take Care X against this single Virokun will play a funny cutscene where you teach Noelle about acting. Head to the room in the bottom left of this room to get the pink ribbon. Equip this to Chris over the royal pin for the time being. To spare an ambulance, use Hospitality with Noelle and then spare both of them in the next turn. Heading north here, we'll play a cutscene where Noelle comments on Rouse and Susie. After progressing some more, select Susie Wood on this golden Ferris wheel poster. Interact with this man to the right of the room and tell him that you and Noelle are friends. You can step off of the button here to prank Noelle with an attempt at killing her, but I don't recommend doing this as it plays a cutscene showing that Chris is not very happy with doing that to Noelle and Noelle doing that to them back. After the brief cutscene with Birdley and Queen, you can interact with this Birdly statue to get some fun dialogue with Noelle. When selecting Talk with Sweet Cap and Cakes in the room ahead, it will play a festive jingle because Noelle is in the party. Make sure to save your game in whatever slot you want your pacifist run to be, and leave that other file for later. Spare the Werewire in the room ahead, guard with both Chris and Noelle, and then the next turn guard with Chris and use Sleep Mist. Buy a mannequin off of this Addison, buy both Chris-flavored and Noelle-flavored tea off of this Addison, and battle some Virovirocoon far south of the room to collect the Bounce Blade for Chris. Equip this. Upon entering the next room, follow my lead. Activate the yellow switch and the red switch here. Quickly make your way past here as you have only a 9-second time frame. Car can get rather difficult, so remember that there is a sweet pixel between the two cars. Investigating this hallway will leave you in a room where Chris faces Toby Fox and dies to him. This will give you the Dog Dollar, a one-of-a-kind item that decreases in value each chapter. You'll wake up by a dumpster where you can eat moss and get the Moss Finder title. In between this dumpster room and the alleyway will be your second hidden egg. The eggs seem to be a reoccurring hidden Easter egg throughout the chapters. Make sure to grab them all and put them in their respective places. Progressing back to the room prior and going to the top right room from that room will take you to this mouse puzzle. This is your solution. Touch the cheese here to initiate a battle with Mouse. If you're better at timing than me, you can use Trap 1 and Spare with Noelle to spare in one turn, but I used N action twice and then spared. In the bottom left exit of the cheese maze, you can find a CD bagel. Touch the cheese here to encounter 2 Mouse and secure the recruit. This puzzle you could just AFK or just read Birdly's dialogue and it will complete itself. In the next room, make sure to loot every trash can and spare any enemies that may pop up. Moving forward, you can spare Birdly by playing dumb and using N action. This is faster than doing Play Smart, as it instead gives you 18% as opposed to the 16% Play Smart gives you. After the first attack from the Werewires, you should have enough to play Dumb and then use Sleep Mist to get rid of them immediately. Snag an 8% to Birdly as well. I can't dodge Birdly's attacks for the life of me. This is your last chance to make any adjustments to Noelle's loadout. If you've given her any armor or she still has any, make sure to take it off of her, as the silver watch seems to be a one-of-a-kind item, since it is her watch directly. Make sure not to hit any of the walking cars here, as if you hit any of them, it will botch your chances of getting a car NPC in your castle town. There is a way to cheese this on PC and Switch, I believe, using their D-pad and arrow keys, but I don't know exactly what that is, and I did it legitimately. If you fail this, you can just simply reload your save and try again. And of course, get the banana if you're not an insane person. Now we have a mandatory encounter with everyone's favorite salesman. Here you have the option to win by fighting or taking his deal starting the questline for Spamton Neo. We obviously want to do the questline for Spamton Neo. To spare Spamton, select Heal Deal or Deal from your act menu. Select in order Tell Me More, Don't Give, Take Deal, Don't Buy, Refuse, and then Yes Deal. When prompted to press F1 for help, you can press F1 on PC and it'll actually heal you. You can also press No Deal many times to enlarge and Spamton's sprite. After progressing farther, give the present that Queen gives you to Susie. This will allegedly unlock a Susie plushie in her room. Who's ready for an almost sudden, jump to Pandora Palace? Before progressing, interact with this sign and then go to the teacup ride at the bottom. Using Ultimate Heal with Susie at all against these ambulants that are mandatory for progression will show some fun dialogue. Use Get Hit with Rousey and then Get Hit to instantly spare the ambulance. Opening the chest at the top left after sitting in the teacup will unlock some balloons and some funny dialogue with Noelle. The mouse here can be spared one by one by doing S action, R action, and then sparing with Chris. The rest of the puzzles explain themselves. Just let Lancer out of your pocket here. You can interact with the doors here to see rooms like Jockington, Caddy, the shovels from Chris's room, and Asriel. After the very easy to solve puzzles, you can push Lancer to the table here to get a funny cutscene with spaghetti and stuff. He seems to be well taken care of. Now, at the center of Queen's Castle, we have a lot of stuff to do. Buy a second royal pin, a big shot bow tie, spaghetti code, and butler juice from Swatch here, and exhaust all of his dialogue options. You can use this warp door to head back to Cyberfield if you missed the Ragger 2, but right now we're going back to the trash zone. To the far left of the trash zone will be the second part of the Spamton Neo quest line. In Spamton's shop, the first thing you want to do is buy every single item at a very low price. You can wait for the prices to get low automatically as they randomly rotate. You must exhaust all of Spamton's dialogue options here. Take Susie and Rousey over to the Addison that sells character-flavored tea and buy a Susie tea and an Rousey tea. If you try and go too forward back to the entrance of Queen's Castle, you will find a massive toilet blocking the path, which I didn't decide to show here. Take the warp door at the trash zone back to Queen's Mansion. Past the main hall, all the way in the bottom right of the first room, you can find a revivement in this red painting. Purposefully break the pottery to initiate a battle with the swatchlings. Here's a handy little chart showing how to spare them easily. I definitely didn't spend maybe like 3 minutes making this. In the next room, you'll probably end up fighting swatchlings again. This will be where you can recruit them. Against Task Manager, spare her tasks first for a massive boost in the spare meter. Use Order X one time after sparing both tasks to finish the fight. Go past the normal point of progression to instead go here past these cars and initiate the third part of Spamton Neo's questline. Grab the chainmail from the chest in this room, and press the switch here to unlock a hidden passage. Activate this switch to get back to the main hall efficiently, and use the key gen to open up this little lock here. Enter the basement, save the game, and then proceed west. You can easily just sprint past these wires, and in this room you can find one dark dollar in a chest. Here you can see Spamton's face, the teacup ride down, and ignore the massive drop in frame rate as the game renders in the hell you're about to face after you deactivate this force field and attempt to go back up the teacup. I can't provide much help with this is just trial and error, but here's me surviving it. Go past the no longer force field. To the north and far right of the railroad tracks in the next room, you can find the empty disc in this old machine. Leave the basement and regroup with your friends. Return to the trash zone through the little switch that we made back to the main hall, and now you can do the final part of the quest. Give Spamton the empty disc in exchange for the loaded disc, I assume he just entered the empty disc, and make your way back to the basement. Place the loaded disc into the old machine here from earlier, and while attempting to leave the basement, Spamton Neo will initiate battle with you. Susie and Rousey have luckily caught up to you, so this is not a 1v1 battle. This is the Jevil of this chapter, but beating him is much more simple and much more easy. Simply do Snap All every turn. Occasionally, you want to use Supercharge with Susie, so do Snap with Chris, Snap with Rousey, and then use Supercharge with Susie, so that you can get through some phases like Spamton's facial parts attack, Spamton's phone attack, Spamton's ultimate attack, and Spamton's heart-shaped object attack. Upon defeating Spamton, if you beat him with violence, you will get an all-out DPS weapon for Rousey, but if you defeat him with mercy, you will get the Deal Maker, which raises the money gained from any fight, defense, and magic of anyone you put it on. The Deal Maker is obviously the better choice here, at least for a pacifist run. That's pretty much it for the Spamton Neo questline and all the backtracking we have to do. Now we just grab stuff as we go, for the most part, I'm pretty sure. If you go back to the trash zone one last time, Addisons will be lined up outside to tell you Spamton's backstory. This is not a lore video, this is just a how to get everything video, so that's why I'm kind of speeding through all the lore and not really saying anything about it. Exhaust Swatch's new dialogue option, referring to the basement robot. You can follow through the path you opened up to continue the natural progression of the game. There are many of these puzzles that allow you to open up paths for backtracking, but this one is mandatory to go further into the palace. Interact with both of the red queen paintings to open up the paths to the next rooms. To spare mouse wheel, simply do catch X on a large group of mouse until you finally spare. In this room, first interact with 3 of these little things to trigger the room to shuffle. Go to the bottom right of the room here to find Toby Fox, and ride until you get the key. Going north here, you can find your second glow shard if you're willing to tank through all of the attacks. Simply interact with every single one of these little tins until you get to the last one. The last one will have a chest containing the glow shard. For these little fireball paintings, you can simply hold sprint past and you won't get hit at all. You are now alone with Rousey again for a brief bit, and there's nothing really that interesting other than the revive dust. And of course, grabbing Queen's banana for no reason at all. If going straight north in the path right here, you can fight and spare a werewire. At the end of this battle, you will get the revive dust. In the room following the blue path to the right, you can get a funny interaction with a swatchling. You can easily get all 4 ends of this puzzle by first just shooting the mice, flipping the front house and then shooting the mice, flipping the second house and then shooting the mice, and then flipping the 4th house and shooting the mice. You can easily beat Rule's card here by taking all the houses you can in one turn, grazing for TP as much as possible, and then slowly making your way to block off Rules' path with your houses. I like flipping off the camera here, as Susie has a fun thing to say about it, I'm pretty sure. After watching the lovebirds do their little thing on the Ferris wheel, progress forward and fight wire. Do B sweet and then S action, as the added percent you get goes up faster and faster the more you do this, and it's much faster than any other option as far as I know. Should now have every single recruit from Chapter 2. Stop by Noelle's room to steal the Susie statue, the IC statue, and inspect her bed to keep the bed inspector roll. This is how my storage looked before fighting Queen, so this is your last chance to go and replicate that if you actually care about that. I forgot to do this before fighting Queen, but make sure to equip the Ragger 2 to Rouse and the Mecha Saber to Chris, as you need attack to get through the shield faster. You can use Group Loosen on Birdly to get done faster, but you can also do the Susie throw thing to get even faster if you're confident enough. By using Red Buster and attacking once with Rouse, you'll be able to one-shot even Queen's highest shield, assuming Susie has the Dealmaker, Devil's Tail, and the Auto Axe equipped. Make sure not to beat Birdly with violence, because if you do, his arm gets broken in the real world. The Giga Queen fight is as simple as always, and as difficult as always for me. But you can use Flame Mode to increase your damage dealt. This is why we picked the Flame Head way back in Chapter 1. Boom, wowee, all of a sudden we're back to Hometown. Now let's go through all of the Hometown stuff and the My Castletown stuff. I like to go to Castletown before doing anything else. Going to Castletown will initiate a cutscene with Queen where she comments on your town. First, go into storage and take the tension bit out. You should now be able to fuse 3 items: the Twin Ribbon, the Tension Bow, and the Spike Band. Make sure to unequip any of the components from anyone who may have any of them on. These are all great armor pieces, but by far the best one is the Twin Ribbon. Here are my final end of chapter character builds for all 3 characters. If you didn't miss anything, now you can save the game. Talk to Sham and give him the second Shadow Crystal that you got from Spampton Neo. 2 new challenges have been unlocked at the Party Dojo after exiting the cyber world, so do those. There's no penalty for attacking people in the Chapter 2 All-Stars fight, so have as much fun with that as you will. Every party member becomes level 3 right after Chapter 2, so have some fun with the new stats. Take the Tension Gem you got from Chapter 2 All-Stars and put it in your storage. You now have 1 of every single item. Since I failed to mention it earlier, talk to Sham about the Shadow Mantle. The Mannequin Addison is here because you bought the mannequin. The Tiny Car is here because you didn't hit any cars. Come back down to King's cell to initiate a conversation between Queen and King. The IC statue from Noelle's room is now in Chris's room. And so is the Susie statue in Susie's room, as well as the Susie plush that you gave Susie when you gave her the present. You can come to the far end of the hallway to interact with Lancer and Queen. Interacting with Temmie in your classroom will have her place the hard-boiled egg back on her desk. Interacting with the hard-boiled egg will be serving as a tracker for how many eggs you've gotten throughout the chapters. The patient to the right room of the hospital is now Chiron, and you can have a new special interaction with Rudy and Noelle now that Susie is with you. Once again, exhaust all of Rudy's dialogue options. Head into the police station to play a fun cutscene with Undyne and get the heart-shaped chocolate. Have Napstablook sound the alarm. Now give Alfie's Undyne's chocolate, and proceed to exhaust all of her dialogue options. Now at the graveyard, exhaust all of Father Alvin's dialogue options. You will get special, probably important to Chapter 4 dialogue from Alvin about a hammer. Trigger this cutscene with Snowy, Monster Kid, and Susie at the bottom of the bunker here. If you go and knock on Monster Kid's door after this will reveal some dialogue. Once again, exhaust all of Braddy's dialogue options. Witness this divorced dad's painful embarrassment. This cutscene between Toriel, Asgore, and Sans plays if you and Susie are at the top left of the store. Place the mysterious man's egg in the basket here. Exhaust all of Sans' dialogue options. Head into the diner and exhaust all of Caddy and Caddy's dialogue options. Go further left, head into Icy's Pizza and talk to Burger Pants. Knock on the ghost door and say you're here for someone else. This will trigger what seems to be a quest line for Chapter 3. Talk to Onion-san and tell them that you miss them. Waiting in that same spot after talking to Onion-san will play this really cool sprite animation, which I just love so much. One last double check before saving the game in slot 1 for good. After saving your game, come back home and watch the final cutscene and credits. This will make your clear file that you can use in Chapter 3, which will have literally everything that I could think of. With that, let's get to Section 3 of this video, which I've been putting off, the Snowgrave or Weird Route. Remember that second file that we made? Yeah, you're gonna load that up right now. Backtrack with Noelle to freeze a Deltarune to death. Continue backtracking and freeze every single enemy you come across as follows. Do not command Chris to attack or let alone let them kill anyone. Just have Chris defend so they can build up TP so Noelle can use Ice Shock. Interact with the front door of Spamton's shop and now you are free to progress. Freeze everyone ahead with Noelle as follows. Now that we're back where we started, save the game. Walk past this puzzle and every time Noelle tries to stop you, continue. Force your own will upon Noelle. Whenever the prompt is given, answer proceed. Continue your shivery slaughter. Always, and I mean always, grab the pink ribbon. Once reaching this poster for the Ferris wheel ride, tell Noelle that you will ride with her, and then tell her that she will ride with you. Tell this Addison that you and Noelle are someone else. When walking away, he will prompt you to buy the freeze ring off of him. Since Toby coded the game to make it impossible to buy, you will force Noelle to kill him and take it off of him. Here you'll get a scene where Noelle contemplates stepping off the button, killing Chris. Tell Noelle it's natural to get those intrusive thoughts. Equip the freeze ring to Noelle. Freeze everyone ahead to death as follows. Save the game. I don't know why I cut it out in my editing, but grab the bounce blade here. This is the same trash can in the same location that you wake up after the dog dollar from earlier. It will be important later. Every single time you are prompted here, tell Noelle to proceed. Freeze everyone as follows. Now back at the dumpster, you can buy the thorn ring. This allows Noelle to use the Snowgrave spell. Equip it to her. Backtrack and save the game in both slot 2 and slot 3. The reason you want to save it in both slots is because we are doing... Just like in the normal weird route, you would proceed to the battle against Birdley. But this time, don't use Snowgrave on Birdley. Beat Birdley by any other means. You can either spare him, or you can just beat him with an Ice Shock or Chris's attack, or anything else that isn't Snowgrave. This will put a complete halt to the route and continue the game as if you were just doing a violence route. This allows you to take the thorn ring off of Noelle and keep it for later. The reason I want to make a file like this is because the results of doing violence is so much different from doing mercy. The weird route seems to be changing the game dramatically, while this changes the game only slightly, which may have major repercussions later on, like a bad ending. You also get to make very fun character builds, like the one I made with Ralsei here, which is even stronger than Susie. I think a save file like this is 100% worth my second save file slot. Nothing traumatically damaging will happen to Noelle's character later on. The overall story of the game will not change, but we will be left in a sorrier state. I imagine a file like this where you just use violence but don't do anything crazy manipulative like the weird route will end up with some very fun stuff like DPS builds, just overall new character stuff, new Castletown stuff, everything you can think of. You also get to keep the thorn ring for the twisted sword fusion later on, which, you know, might be possible. Because you're beating Queen with violence here, you are not focused on loosening Birdley. This leads to Birdley being forced to tear off the plug, resulting in his arm being completely broken in the light world. In doing this, I expect you to do literally everything I mentioned in the pacifist route, with the exclusion of recruits and getting the flavored character T or tension gem, as those are impossible in this route. The people in Castletown already do not look very happy with your decision to leave the recruits behind. Here are my final character builds for this violence route. I can definitely see myself having a lot of fun with the fight button in chapter 3 with this save file. I saved this file in slot 2 because I wanted the top file to be the most innocent and the bottom file to be the least innocent, with the middle file being a sort of middle ground. Now let's get back to what we were doing. For me, I have to load back up this third file, proceed back to the Birdley fight, proceed into the Birdley fight, and then tell Noelle to do Snowgrave over and over until she does it. This can only be done once you reach max TP. Save the game, of course. The natural progression of the game has been completely shifted. You will instead go up here and take a manhole to shortcut to Queen's Mansion. Most of the shortcuts have been opened and most of the areas have been blocked off, so I don't expect you to get anything from this point onward other than killing people and moving forward. Don't forget to give Rousey the rag or two like I did. Here I'm just going to show sped up footage of me going through all the Pippus mazes and stuff like that. At the end of this hallway, you have to fight Task Manager. As you should be expected to do not recruit her, lose her. Come over here and give Wire the lost status as well. If needed, you can backtrack and save the game. After this cutscene is your final chance to take off any good armor on Susie or Rousey and give it to Chris, as there will be a very difficult boss coming up. Here, you are forced to continue onward unless you want to reload your save file. Buy some healing items, equip good armor, and when you're ready, save the game before your fight against Spamton Neo, Weird Route Edition. This fight is, in my opinion, the hardest fight in the game, as if you're like me, it's not very easy to win a fight with just one person, especially against a boss who's only second to Jevil. Our strategy here is to have the pink ribbon and the Jevil's tail attached to Chris. This will give you a manageable defense, the boosted attack from the tail, and the pink ribbon's graze area. With the graze area, try your best without dying to get as much TP as possible so you can heal and use X-Slash. Do not take any chances whatsoever and heal whenever you see it necessary. In the second phase, just call for help 2 times from each of your party members, until eventually the player will call out to Noelle. This ends the fight. As you could probably expect, as a reflection of the events of the Dark World, Birdley is dead. Susie will comment on how things seem off. Visit Rudy in the hospital, and upon leaving the room, you will get a terrifying scene where Noelle is completely shaken up over the events that took place. Part of her doesn't believe that it was a dream, like Susie said. Tell her you keep coming to see her. If you were wearing the watch in Spamton Neo's fight that you took off of Noelle, you will get special dialogue portraying Noelle shaking in horror at the fact you have her watch. You can tell her you took it in her dream, but Susie will cut you off. Chris's description in the Dark World will be changed to leader commands. You can now save your game, and now you have 3 completely perfect files for Deltarune Chapter 1 and 2. Should also mention that you do get a Shadow Crystal and the Puppet Scarf from killing Spamton Neo at the end of the Weird Route. That wraps up pretty much every single thing I have to say. This video took a bit to make, so yeah, it took about, I think, 8 hours of recording footage in total or so. And I also just kind of didn't want to do it, but I pushed it out because I just really wanted to start making videos on Deltarune, since Deltarune has been a big passion of mine ever since Chapter 1 was like 2 years into it existing, or 2 years in. I became an Undertale fan about like 2019, and 2020 was when I found out that Deltarune existed. So that was about 2 years into Chapter 1 existing, and I remember playing it non-stop. Like, even after I beat it, I just played it over and over and over again. So I have a lot of experience with this game. And I thought, you know what, why not share that experience? And that's what I'm doing here. In this video, I just wanted to share every single thing I know about this game. And I didn't want to delve into any lore at all in this video. I just wanted to go straight into the gameplay and just getting everything, because we're not here to delve into the lore, we're here to just do everything, because we all know the lore. Like, chapter 2 has been out for 3.5 years now, I believe, more than that, so of course we know the lore. Like, we know everything about it, don't we? I hope. I mean, if you don't, you better learn it. Deltarune chapter 3 and 4 come out in 2 months. I would also like to say this video was inspired by Shay's video covering perfect save files. I watched it and I enjoyed the video, but I felt like I wanted to make my own video covering the same topic, except going into a walkthrough style and just covering literally everything I could think of and just doing everything. Not just like, you know, not just, oh yeah, here's what you need to do. No, just doing everything, you know? I wanted to fill in any holes that were in there, like the hometown section. Shay only mentioned like doing Rudy and doing I forget who it was. It was Rudy and someone else in chapter 1, and I was like, wow, why not just do everyone? So I wanted to say, yeah, just do everyone. Like, do everything. Do every single thing you can before the game comes out, because who knows, maybe just interacting with a chair could unlock some special dialogue later on. You never know. I just wanted to get the full experience and make a video detailing how you think you can get the full experience. That is, if you don't skip any dialogue like I did, because I've seen the dialogue a million times. I mean, I've done this style of 100% run a million times, because I played this game like maybe start to finish like 20 times. That's chapter 1 and 2 together. So yeah, I like this game a lot. So yeah, props to Shay for giving me the idea to make this little long ass video. Thank you, you're really cool. But yeah, that's really it. Yeah.